What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at 86 Gattuso. 2-star, 3-star in the center mid role. It's 5'10 with a medium high and he is controlled acceleration type. He has got CDM or center mid and his acceleration and sprint speed is needing of a shadow, which is exactly what we're going to put on him. 80 composure, not the greatest, and I must admit when it comes to Gattuso from previous years, the base has always been semi-decent, then the mid was kind of okay, and then the prime and then any versions on was a little bit better, but most definitely doesn't look an awful starter card, coming in very cheap at about 135,000 coins. We have got the Relentless Playstyle Plus on him, which is significantly increases fatigue, recovery during half-time and extra time, greatly increases duration of teammate contain and partial team press. So that is RB, if you are going for basically what's known as a second man press. We'll show you how to do that. He's also got Intercept and Bruiser as the other Playstyle Pluses, or Playstyles in fact. And I think in terms of the shadow going on him, keeps him at the same controlled running, and he ends up with 81 pace, 94 defending, and an 88 overall CDM. So let's have a look at him in game and see what he's all about. FC24 is here and Sky Coach has all your needs covered. From squad battles, champs, qualifications, and even now draft boosting, there is a long list of services they do give, as well as coaching and also the big one everybody wants in FC24 coins. The service is fast and reliable, and you will get your coins, your boosting services, or obviously coaching in a matter of hours. If you do want to get any of these, make sure you head over to skycoach.gg, go onto the website, and when you go to checkout, make sure that you are using the code JT11 at checkout for your 5% off your orders. And if you'd prefer to do this on mobile, check out the screen right now with the QR code for their mobile app. It will be an interesting one to see how he kind of performs, purely for the fact that we have had, well, Declan Rice's, that's, ooh, kept it in. We had Declan Rice literally yesterday, so we'll be interested to see how he shapes up as he finds his way through, but he doesn't get the finish. And I must admit, in terms of kind of Gattuso, he should be relatively decent. I don't know why the names are not popping up, but when did the name? Yeah, no, the names do pop up. Thought they didn't pop up for a second then. Finding it back to him. Spreading the play out nice with some passing. Can we get one more into Dembele? Little spin back. Back across. Kolo Muani going for it. Need him to track back on this defensive duty, which he's done perfectly. Good pace on him, especially with that shadow added. I need him back here as well. Should be quelling this quite easily. I would say as well 135,000. At this point for icons doesn't seem that much now, when we've got the cheapest icon at about 70,000. It's kind of at the lowest of lows, and I can imagine icon packs, we will be seeing quite a lot of him, to be honest. Watched him in the middle here. Seems to actually have quite a nice dribble on him. Very responsive. Seems to be nice and quick, which is always perfect for a midfielder. I'd say solid so far, just off the basis of, what, 15 minutes. Little one more for him, finding the ball up if he can. Lovely. Can we keep on to it? Nice strength. One more. Oh, we've gone one more too much. Cut on the inside, all the way. Beautiful from Dembele. It's a nice ball, holds on to it well, and it leads to that attack as well. And you'll realise that is going to be a very important role if you've not already. The whole attacking press sort of play now is completely designed from the back to the front. And I must admit, it's even more prominent in this game than it has been in previous, from my personal preference of playing now. Normally, I'm very fast on the attack. I like the counter as well, but mainly the attacking aspect. I like it to be quick, I like it to be snappy. So my centre mids need to have that kind of balance of being defensive, but also then actually semi-decent on the ball. And I think Gattuso most definitely has proven that so far. You'll see the second man press as well, if we can get it into a Gattuso sort of position. So we see here, this is basically, he isn't losing any stamina here. So he's managing to hold it off. Does manage to get a good, semi-decent ball in. But when you are holding RB whilst also kind of trying to use that second man press, he won't lose any fatigue from that, which again has its benefits. It may not be the most important playstyle, but if you've got it, you might as well use it. And I think it does kind of more work for me when it comes to CDMs and not CDMs, centre backs and fullbacks. But most definitely, if you've got your CDM or your centre mid in that position as well, you might as well go through and try it as well. It will work out, and you'll find that later on in the game as well, with the extra boost of kind of fatigue or stamina at least, in the extra half, in obviously the half time, it will be massive going forward. The also big question that you've got to ask yourself when buying icons or, oh okay, that's bad, buying icons or at least putting them in your squad is, how much are you willing to lose from them? Because naturally, if we do get an icon pack out and we find that Gattuso's a massive packed one just for the fact that he is one of the lower values, one of the lower kind of icons, are you willing to lose what? He's got 135,000. I think the cheapest an icon can be is about 65, I want to say. Not saying that he'd drop down to 65 because I think minimum price is kind of not where they go. I think they definitely hold somewhat of a value still, but most definitely that is a possibility at some point. So are you willing to lose, what, about 70,000 coins on an icon just for having him in your team? Does he make any difference in your team, or is he replaceable for somebody who is necessarily a Tchouaméni, who is very, very cheap, may not have the same stats or the same playstyle plus, but could he be worth... Oh, that's a great little play. He's going to come across goal. No, he's going to go... Should have gone near post, really. I've given it him back, but luckily kept it. But realistically, you could lose less coins for just having somebody slightly different in your team. Is that more worth it? And I think if you've got an icon that you have in mind that you like, then potentially that is the kind of motive that you're going for. Because naturally they could lose value, or some of them can gain. You never know. It's very unlikely in the long run, especially for an already lower priced icon, but it most definitely isn't unheard of. Good work from him. He's finding himself on the ball now. Little bit of a sticky situation. We still managed to find the cross ball into Son, which is always nice. Now I want him to back up. We've got KDB here linking up with Ansu. Finds himself through. Little ball roll. Try and find some more space if we can. Into KDB. Into our man Gattuso. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, does win it back. Into him. Ansu. Great save, Donnarumma, and that's perfect. That's where the kind of aggression side of stuff for Gattuso really, really comes alive. Good tackle, wins the ball back after a very bad misplaced pass. Does manage to get ourselves in that little bit more here and run it out of play. Excellent. Got a good tracking back. Does manage to keep up, but it's beautiful. Especially that shadow is an absolute must. Do get out dribbled a little bit there. The jockey not coming in too much clutch, but we do get the pass across. Find him out here. And I think the one thing you've got, well, personally for me, I normally have a very CDM based kind of character in the centre mid, and then I have somebody like, for instance, a KDB. Oh, hold the ball. No, okay. Did a bit too much there. But I have somebody like KDB who isn't necessarily the most defensive based CDM, so it's almost like a yin and yang for them. I just personally like it. In most games I've had that, until you get to the end where everybody's just absolutely cracked at everything. It's always nice. That's beautiful. There's not a lot I can do there, but I like to have the both between them, where you have that more defensive, maybe still passing orientated, but most definitely not as attacking as the other one, and it works normally 9 times out of 10. If you've got somebody who can do it, then he's going to be able to kind of work with most of your other centre mids that are of the more attacking option. Good tackle back, wins it, which is always nice. Finds himself open again, leaves it open for KDB. Back into Gattuso, looking for a bit of play if we can. Griezmann into the fake, but it's quelled out from the CDM. Gattuso again, mixed pass straight in. One more into Griezmann and doesn't find it. Can we get a little block off? We've got Bellingham with him now. More of, again, kind of more box-to-box orientated rather than necessarily a very high attacking player like KDB. So it'll be interesting to see how the pairing work here. Good block. Doesn't win the ball back, but enough to stop that counter. So going into the overall for him then, he's currently coming in, I believe, 135 is what I'm trying to sell him for. It's kind of 130 to 140 by the looks of it. Like I said, in terms of when the icon pack does come out, you will find that they will drop to start with. Maybe they go back up, maybe they don't. It will all depend on how much he's got, basically. If you've got, for instance, Campos, Dempsey, Beardsley, if you've got loads of them being packed from the hero pack yesterday, you're just going to be able to see a price dip in there because the demand will be less than what it already is. If you take a look at the icons as well, you kind of can see where the prices are kind of coming from. So if we go all the way to the bottom, Ian Rush is the lowest at 78, Trezeguet is just dipping below 80, then you kind of go up to 85, 98, 100, and then you'll find yourselves all the way up just to Gattuso here. So realistically there is what, say 10 to 15 icons just below him here, probably about 10, yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 icons below him in terms of value, and then realistically even then a few ahead of him is only what, 10 to 30k ahead of him as well. So if it is a max 88 for instance, I don't think we know if it's going to be max or not, but I can imagine we're not going to get a full kind of icon pack if we didn't get a full hero one already. So it's going to be capped off at, I'd say, about an 88 or an 89. I'd probably put my money on 88 for this one, which means Gattuso's in there most definitely. And pretty much most of these are, you maybe have like Gary Lineker at 89, but realistically most of them are going to be between that sort of range. Now in terms of Gattuso in general, nice card, very good on the ball, very nice on the strength, defending's very good, and I think even dribbling wasn't necessarily as bad as I thought it would be. After using Declan Rice as a 2-star, 3-star as well, I thought he would struggle. And if we do compare the two together, because I do think they are roughly, well, I'm pretty sure they were the same sort of price. I don't think Decker's might be a little bit, no, pretty much bang on, to be honest. So that's not terrible at all. So if we add a shadow to both of them, as I think realistically that's what you're going to want to do, this gives Decker's that little bit more on that pace, but not by a great deal. So realistically, we've got one better defending on Gattuso. Physical is 2 better for Gattuso. Then you find that the dribbling, the passing, and the shooting are all better on Rice. And then the pace is also just that little bit better on Rice as well. In-game stats wise, you're looking better for Rice also. And this is what I'm saying in terms of going for an icon. If you do Rice untradeable, completely the value straight away, yes, you do lose the players of that value, because I hate when I always say you're getting him for just untradeable value, so it's practically free. Of course there is a value there. Like naturally, whatever you put in that means that you don't put that exact same cards in the icon pack anyway. So you are putting 131k, but that's it. You get that, there's no value change, there's nothing left. If you go buy Gattuso, then obviously you're going to lose value at some point. Naturally, they will go down and down and down. It's just actually what happens every year. It's impossible to have a card, especially an 86 icon at the end of the year, still be the same price. It is virtually impossible. So I do think in terms of putting a card in for an SBC, if it's just a CDM you want, there is loads of options that you can go for. Even if we just go into the generic golds, like I said, a great one I really like is Tchouaméni. A great price and a very good card to start with. You don't need all the flashy stuff. Get the game absolutely nailed. Even if we look through a few of them at the 20 sort of value, Tonali, 80,000, a little bit cheaper, but incredible. Very, very good CDM. You go a bit further down, and if you wanted to look for a card that isn't going to lose you any more than like 10k, then you would be looking at kind of your Tchouaménis. You're looking at maybe a Gundogan to some extent, but I personally would go with Tchouaméni over anybody in this list, because I know full well, I'm pretty sure if I just type his name, it'll be much easier to find him. But he is just an incredible CDM for 2.2 thousand coins. You add that shadow, he's got a 3-star at a minimum, keeps him or is it not? Where's shadow? Controlled lengthy, there it is. So yeah, so we get controlled lengthy from him, 81 pace, which is the same. Doesn't necessarily have the same defend and physical stats. Has the dribbling, which is always good, and a bit of passing. Has more composure. I just don't see where you could go wrong with that card. You don't lose any coins, and he's an absolute solid shout until you can get your untradableness in the club already. But I do think Gattuso isn't awful. I thought he might be a little bit worse than what the card suggests, and I think in terms of defending, very, very nice. Not a massive fan of Relentless being on that on a centre mid. I personally, if I'm going for something, I'm looking for either a passing game or I'm looking for something shooting. If it's kind of your centre mid to cam, as a DM, I'd always take a defensive playstyle. I think Relentless is nice for the pace aspect or the fatigue aspect, but really that is kind of all it's going to come in as kind of what we've seen from all of the playstyle pluses at the moment. But Shadow's the way to go. If I'm being brutal for him, I'd be looking 132k, I'd be saying like an 8. I think an 8 at the moment, and more than likely once we get the icon pack and some more promos, he'd be looking to go down to a 7 quite quickly, just purely on the fact of how many cards are better, basically. So let me know down below what you think, and let me know, have you packed an icon yet? But other than that, make sure to like and subscribe. Peace!